Hi guys, this is Group 11 400 Level Law Intellectual Property class at Babalola University, Ado Ekiti. And today, we are going to be teaching you on patents, limitations, exceptions, and flexibilities. Did you know that under the TRIPS agreement, flexibility of patents is actually a large umbrella that covers both exceptions and limitations? Anyway, we are going to teach you today on the exceptions, the limitations, and flexibilities. Let's take it to my colleague who shall tell you the first exception.
The first exception to consider are acts done for non-commercial and non-industrial purposes. This can be seen in Section 6, sub 3A of the Patent and Designs Act. So, a patent right can only be enforceable in respect to acts done for commercial and industrial purposes. For example, a person coming in from Italy after vacation now brings in a product that is patented in Italy and also patented in Nigeria. The patent owner of Nigeria will only be able to sue that person if the person is using that product for commercial and industrial purposes. But if the person is only using it for personal reasons and personal gain, they will not be liable for infringement of their rights.
Another exception or limitation of patent rights is protection of local inventors or prior use. This can be seen under Section 6, sub 4, PDA, which is Patent and Design Act. A local inventor can be defined as a person who makes an invention without knowledge of a soon-to-be registered invention. Now, where a local inventor makes an invention and sells it to his neighbors, and thereafter a person in an urban area makes same invention and registers it, the latter can sue the local inventor for infringing on his patent right. Note, this limitation won't protect a local inventor where he goes outside his jurisdiction or makes an invention with knowledge of a same invention being made and registered.
So another exception under the trademark is the exhaustion of rights, and this is provided for under the Section 6, sub 3B of the Trademarks Act. This provision stated that once you have lawfully sold your product to a person or another person, you have successfully exhausted your rights over the product. And also this process can also be called lawful channel of commerce. And what validates this transaction between you and the person that bought the product from you is the is consideration, and this is also called money. An example of this exception is maybe you are a producer of a product, let's say an iron, then you sold the iron to another person. You have successfully, so far the person has already paid, you have successfully exhausted your rights over the product, and this person has no right to reproduce the iron, but they can do with it whatever they please.
Another limitation exception to patent rights is the research and experiments exception, also called the Bola exception. This exception allows the researcher or researchers to get their hands on a patented invention and conduct researches on it to see the certain ways in which improvements can be made on it. This exception is generally used to advance science and technology, as this is one of the objectives of a patent. It should also be noted, it is very important to note that a patent right does not last in perpetuity. According to Section 7 of the Patent and Designs Act, a patent right only lasts for 20 years, and after this period, your exclusive right over this patent is expired. Now let's get to the flexibilities.
Now we'll be talking on how an individual can exploit his patent right to gain maximum profit, also known as the flexibilities of a patent right. The first is assignment. An assignment is defined as the right to transfer patent right to an assignee in respect of consideration. One of the flexibilities of a patent right is that it is capable of being sold and transferred to another person. Section 24 of the PDA makes provision for assignment, and it stated two requirements, two conditions: that it must be in writing and it must be signed by the parties. The second one is that it must be registered under the patent registry, and also where there are joint owners to a patent right, like one of the parties to the joint owner can assign its right to another person, to an individual, without the consent of the other party, without the consent of the other joint owner.
So I'll be talking about the second flexibility of patent right, which is license. Now, what is license? You can see that licensing refers to the authorization given to a third party by a patent owner. For example now, a patentable goods such as, let's say, a product of phone, let's say a phone, the owner of the phone can give this right to a third party to either manufacture, use, or to distribute this product to other people. This is because he has the right to give other people his goods to use. The purpose of licensing is to gain more profit. Now, under Section 23 of the PDA Act, we can see that licensing must be in writing and must be registered under the registry.
So,
My colleague has just tackled the topic of licensing, which brings us to compulsory licensing. A compulsory license is a non-voluntary license granted by the government or the courts without the consent of the patentee, although he is duly compensated, and it is always in the interest of the public. A compulsory license is always used to address issues in the society, such as high price of patented inventions, failure of the patentee to meet with the market demand of the invention, or public health emergencies. Developing countries can maximize the use of compulsory licensing for the purpose of getting access to medicines, especially in public health emergencies. For instance, South Africa, during the outbreak of HIV and AIDS in the country, got a compulsory license for the HIV and AIDS medicine so that they could combat it, as they had none to combat the ailment at the time. Thank you.
I trust that was such an enlightening session for you too, and you've learned a thing or two. Thank you for watching this video.